Alright, today we're going to be doing a long layered haircut, which is going to create some body and movement and give our model some volume. And this is going to allow her to have more versatility with her styling. Of course, I'm going to walk through the steps on how to actually achieve a long layered haircut and also give you some tips and tricks along the way. And before you actually start the haircut, you always want to make sure that you do a thorough consultation with your client, making sure that you definitely know exactly how much length you'll be taking off and the overall desired result that you're looking to achieve. And you also want to make sure that you're aware of your client's body position. You want to make sure that they're sitting up straight, which my model is, and their legs are uncrossed. And then you want to make sure that their head is upright. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to comb the hair to a natural fall. And let's see here. We're going to start with taking a center parting, basically from the front hairline to the apex. And again, I'm combing the hair straight down to a natural fall. And with our model here, we're going to just take about an inch off of the length. Alrighty, so hold your head down, and I'm going to have her hold her head straight down just to ensure that I don't have any graduation or that I'm creating any extra layers while we're cutting the perimeter. Okay. And as I'm cutting, the hair that's behind the ear, again, I'm combing straight down, but the hair that's actually in front of the ear, as I'm moving around, go ahead and hold your head up. As I'm moving around the head, I'm going to actually have my model hold her head straight up and bring the hair right in front of her shoulder and then cut. And because she has some fringe, the very last layer I actually don't have a whole lot to cut. Alright. And hold your head down again. I just want to make sure I have this side even before I go to our next section. Alright, there you go. You hold your head up. You always want to make sure that as you're cutting hair, that you're actually standing in front of the section that you're cutting so that you're actually giving an accurate haircut. Great. Thank you. Alright. So now that we've now that we've cut our model's perimeter, we're going to go ahead and create our guide to start our layers. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I comb the hair back down to a natural fall, and I'm going to start with working from the apex to the top of the ear. So I'm going to take a section from the apex to the top of the ear, and the hair that I'm not going to be cutting, I'm just going to comb that out of the way. And one little tip that I can give you when you're trying to find the apex, basically, if you place the comb right on top of the head, right where the comb starts to lift off of the head, that's where the apex is. So again, our first section that we're going to be cutting is going to be from the apex to the top of the ear on both sides. Alright. So in order to create our guide, we're going to take about a 1/2 inch subsection from the front hairline to the apex. You can hold your head straight up for me. There you go. So I want to make sure that my subsection is actually straight. So I'm going to come right in the front, and it is. All right. So we've got our 1/2 inch subsection. And we're going to hold your head straight. There we go. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold this section straight up at 90 degrees, and you're going to cut. Now, my model actually has some fringe. So as I'm holding the section up, it's going to fall out. So I'm just going to let that fall out. And all we're taking off the layers is about 1/2 inch. So my finger angle is actually diagonal because I want to create a little volume. So we're cutting it from basically short to long. Alright. So now that I've already cut my guide, I'm going to take another center parting, combing the hair straight down. So basically I have a guide on both sides. And now we're going to take a 1/2 inch vertical subsection. And again, holding the hair straight up 90 degrees. And most likely you'll have the perimeter fall out, which is good. We're just taking 1/2 inch off. And I'm just going to take 1/2 inch subsections all the way to the front of the hairline. And again, this is 1/2 inch vertical subsections. And as I'm working towards the front of her hairline, again, because my model does have some fringe, the perimeter is going to fall out, so you may not have a whole lot to cut right in this very top section. Just let that fall out. And we barely have anything to cut right here. Alright. And you're going to repeat this step on the opposite side. Again, 1/2 inch subsections, coming that section straight up, 90 degrees. And you want to make sure that when you're combing the hair, you actually do what's called precision combing, making sure that you're combing from the root to the end of the hair shaft to make sure that you're not giving an uneven haircut. Alright, there's nothing to cut right over there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to comb the hair back down to a natural fall. And with the first section, just to recap, we cut basically from the apex to the top of the ear forward. Now we're going to be working from the apex to the back of the ear. So I'm going to go ahead and section off my front section. We've already cut that. And in the back, what we're going to do to create the layers is we're going to take pivotal partings, almost like how you would slice a pie or a pizza. And we're going to take pivotal partings. Pivotal, shall I say, 1/2 inch pivotal vertical subsections from the apex to the nape of the neck. And we're still going to comb the hair or the section straight up 90 degrees. And again, the perimeter may fall out, that's okay. Okay. And with your subsections, you want to make sure that you actually are cutting, especially in the back of the hair, you want to make sure that you're cutting on basically the side of the head that you can see exactly where you're cutting. You don't want to cut on the opposite side and not be able to actually see your guide, because it'll be very easy for you to lose. So we're just going to continue on the left side to take pivotal, vertical subsections from the apex to the nape of the neck, using our guide that we created in our top section here. Put it down just a little bit. Alright. And when you're working with someone who has as much hair as my model here does, you definitely want to make sure that you are combing from the root to the end of the hair shaft, making sure that you're combing that hair straight up 90 degrees. Because if you don't, you'll find that once the hair is dry, you'll have a lot of jagged edges and the haircut will be uneven. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you are doing precision combing. And we're working on our very last section. Alright, so now the long layered haircut is halfway complete. Our model is going to have some fringe, so once we get her dry, we'll go ahead and cut that fringe.